Dear compatriots, our country can be as great as we want.
Let us all commit ourselves to its greatness.
We must be willing to set aside our differences, unite and stay as one.
In our expansive landmass, human and material resources, and plurality lies our strength.
Let our challenges lead us to rediscover our common ground, and together, let's find solutions.
This will take some time, so it requires patience, tolerance, and forgiveness from every one of us.
Let all hands come on deck to protect and transform our country.
Let us unite and see each other not as adversaries, but as brothers and sisters.
Together, we can build a better Nigeria for ourselves and for the next generations.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA, with support from Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Good morning, viewers. You're welcome to the University Dialogue, a platform where we weekly sensitize, enlighten, and reorientate the populace on government policies, programs, and activities. And in doing that, we consciously get a feedback for government to properly fine-tune our policies to suit the citizens for which those policies are made. Viewers, today we'll continue with the topic 2023 Census, Facts and Issue. And joining me in the studio to discuss this topic today, on my immediate left is BARIKA NWINEH. She is the State Director, National Population Commission, Rivers State. Mario, welcome to the University Dialogue.
Thank you. Good day, all.
And I also have an amiable personality joining us today. Is one of us, not new to us. He's no other person than Peter EMEJURU, Ph.D. It might interest you to know that he is a lecturer in the Department of Social Works, Faculty of Social Science, University of Port Harcourt. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And I have, the last but not the least, a prince, an amiable personality, was with us in the beginning, and he's also with us here. He's no other person than Dr. Prince ANYANATE Q. It will interest you to know that this personality is the Executive Coordinator, Niger Delta Waste to Wealth Development Foundation. Sir, you're welcome to the University Dialogue once again.
Thank you very much, and you're welcome.
Viewers, please keep the comments coming, and then we'll do justice to them. My name is Abi Senmo. I am your anchor person for the University Dialogue. Today, let me start on this note now with you. Since the data collected by National Population Census is the mother of all data, and it is for planning. What will be the implication of collecting inaccurate data that are not correct, or distorted, or misplaced, or falsified?
Thank you, sir. Just like you have rightly stated, you know when you collect data that is not accurate, what do you have? You're going to fail in your planning, because whatever you're planning with that data can never be correct. If I come to your household today and I ask how many are you in your house, you tell me you're 2, whereas you're 10 persons. I come back the next day and I make provision for 2 persons. What have you gained? You have lost, because the 8 persons you didn't give me their information about, I lost out of what I'm providing for you. So if we do that in Nigeria, it means we are underestimating our people or our population. So the government cannot do anything. Like if you talk about education, if you underrate or underscore data for children who are due school age, what do you expect? Maybe they build a 4-room and you have a children of 1,000, a children of about 1,000 in that locality. How will you accommodate them? It means they cannot have the necessary asset to do their work or learn. If you talk about hospital, that's health. If you say, okay, let's use Rivers State today, and you tell me you just have a 5,000 people residing in Rivers State, and you're making provision for health, so, and when that hospital is built, how many persons will go in there? Even the doctors, because if the number of doctors that we send there must agree with the number of health facilities on ground. So what have you done? You have just deprived the indigents of their rights. they cannot be planned for, they cannot be cared for. So at the end of the day, you're going to have a failed planning. Thank you.
Dr. Vidas, I just want to take you on this. We're still on this same question. Now, if you crisscross, you know, the length and breadth of Rivers State, you see some schools built in some villages, you know, with very fantastic facilities, overtaken by bridges. And I believe before those projects were sited, the population figure of that village probably has a particular number that probably they need that facility, they need schools. But eventually, when those schools were built, you see that even the whole children in that community put together could not fill a classroom. And so that project is wasted. I am still on this inaccurate data, not being able to collect information that are accurate for planning. So what's your take?
Well, just like the thing that God just said, it's akin to the fact that when the people fail to plan, they also plan to fail. Now, when you plan for a people and you don't have a solid data on the number, the population of persons you're planning for, you're also planning to fail. You're also planning to waste such resources. Now, you mentioned the idea of some of the schools being built in places where population, the population of the villages or the communities where these are located, they seem not to be equal to the capacity of the facilities they have. Yes, that again, one can say is a misplaced data allocation, in the sense that one, there might be a complete understanding of such facilities. There might also be a complete understanding of location from the government perspective. Which is also important for data collation, because in its comprehensibility, collation, analyzing, and publicizing of census data is used for planning for economic and social milieu of the people. Now, when these are inadequately put, it will lead to misapplication of data. It will also lead to misapplication of citing most of these facilities. Sometimes they will lead to overcrowding. Sometimes they will lead to underpopulation or utilization, just like you have said. So it now boils down that for any meaningful development to take place, there must be an accurate and reliable data collation and implementation. You don't just wake up to say, look, oh, because there's no school in so and so place, then we're building the same capacity for everybody. No. Government will, as a matter of fact, decide to maximize its resources if they put into consideration accurate data, most comprehensive and reliable data towards planning for a group of persons. Just like you said, or just like we were just trying to say, that schools are located in community, maybe just because the government felt at the past how many years there have been decay in these facilities, and so we just want to make sure that we replicate them where they are. And so inadequate data is like planning to fail. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Please, I want you to come from this perspective. If you go to some communities, you see, outrightly there is misplacement of projects, priority sometimes. How do I put it now? You see certain facilities built when the community actually needs this, and the thing is rotting away. Okay, let me just take a very good example. We went to Tema, my friend's place when he lost his mother in Tema community. And there is a hall there, a very big hall that was built with every facility, but the thing is actually rotting away. The people don't need it, but there are some other things they need. This is, what we are still discussing, misplacement of priorities. I want you to, to come from that angle.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Coming from that perspective, I want to say most of the times projects are cited out of place because of lack of what I call participatory rural appraisal. For a project to be impactful to the community and for it to be sustainable, there needs to be what we call community participation, participating rural appraisal, where the company or government, the underlying government that is about to carry out the project need to align with the community leaders and the community folks to say what are the felt needs of the community or what are the things that they actually need. Sometimes most of these projects are cited from the fact that there is a commissioner or a governor representative somewhere and he decides to allocate projects to these communities without recourse to actually what these people need. And that is where we also have some of these misplaced priorities.
Sorry, sir. What do you mean by participating? Not lack of not consulting the people and knowing what they actually need. Okay.
Because in participating rural appraisal, the chiefs, the CDC, the youth, the women wing, they are all brought together. Okay, what are the things that this community needs? So at that point, the women will talk from their angle, the youth will talk from their angle, the chiefs will talk from their angle, the CDC will talk from their angle. Then we'll now look at, in the midst of all these projects that are being put forward by these different groups, which one is a priority to us? If they do that kind of elimination and valuation, of course, they are going to get a project that will be really needed by the community, and that because they need it in reference to others, no opportunity cost, they also look at ensuring the sustainability of that project. But most of the time, when you just throw a project at the people, in fact, managing it at the start even becomes a problem. But from the very first question that they had, I want to look at it from a different perspective. Sometimes they decide it's a school project and there are no people to attend it. Census, people should also know that census is carried out, say, de facto method, which means that they then also take into cognizance that there is this rural-urban migration all the time. So if now you go to a community and the census gives you a population that warrants that they have a school, and maybe within the next few months or few weeks something ecological happens, because of this drift, rural-urban migration, a lot of people in those areas will have to migrate to better places for settlement, for job opportunities. You understand? Yes. So at that point, going back the next year to say, I had a census and these people are due to have a school, and you start a school, only to see that most people that are of the school age that engineered that are already, because they need to fastly attend school, are possibly left where they are to urban centers to start those schooling projects for which already you are planning ahead of time for them.
So I think I want to differ a bit from that, Prince, because this question is, you discover a situation where projects, you mentioned very specifically schools, are built in some communities, and by the complete implementation of that project, you discover that half population of the attendees, exactly that is exactly what you mean, attendees might not just be up to the capacity of the project society. And we are coming from the data aspect. We are coming from the census aspect. Now, for you to locate such a project in any community, you must be well accurate with your data, with your statistics. There's no how you taking a very big project, that will take about maybe 1,000 persons to locate in a very rural community. Of course, it doesn't work that way.
We're not talking about
that particular project will be underutilized because the people are not there. So that is to say that there was no cohesion. There was no collusion, so to speak, of proper data before citing such project. As it were, government did not take into cognizance the fact that, look, we have so and so number of persons in such a place, so we just want to, placate the persons. Let us just sign up projects in order to make sure that government presence is felt in such an area. That is, again, underutilization and undermining data. So, as it were, again, coming from the census aspect, coming from data, because that is what census is all about. It's planning, collecting, analyzing, evaluating, and dissemination demographic, economic, and social data, pertaining to a particular place, small chunk of geographical place, and pertaining to people at a particular time, and delimited to a particular place or a country. So if you are able to sieve out a particular data, as it were, persons to attend to just such this from a particular place, you will not be getting it wrong. And that is why in National Population Commission, you see that there is this a blow to blow, a gradual, complete, process of entire census, the data collection and dissemination. And so that is why the 2023 census, is taking a different turn, taking a different dimension. As it were, it's going to be the first digital census organized in Nigeria. Of course, you know that we had series of censuses in Nigeria. From the pre-corona era, we have all over 7 censuses.
So I'm afraid, let me stop you. This.
Okay.
We're coming back.
Okay.
Our correspondence is on standby from the local government. We have from the entire local government. Give Sunday is on standby. Please give Sunday take off while you are listening.
Thank you, Mr. Abiesenibo, for having me. Hello, viewers. My name is Give Sunday, reporting from Sakpanwa, entire local government. With me is Mr. Firima Paul. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, sir, please, we are looking at the topic 2023 census, facts and issues. What do you have to say about it, sir?
I thank you for your comment on my office, the Local Government Education Authority. I thank the federal government for coming up with this matter, 2023 census. It has been long expected. It is long overdue. We want it to be done because it is with it that we can plan very well for the country. National plan is being used based on national census. And so, as a supervisor in 2006 National Population Census, we have some experience. It was not easy to do it that time. But this time around, I would like the government to improve upon it, at least to go a little bit digital. Digital is good. That is, you can stay in the comfort of your office or your room and do something that you will like. But it has some issues. Power is the crux of the matter. How do we power the system? Some communities don't have lights. Even if there's light, power outage. So government should look inward and do something to make us have constant power so that the 2023 census will be better than what happened in 2006.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So you will be back next.
Yeah, thank you, Give there. We will also, join our correspondent who's also on standby from Omoma local government. We are Leka EMEJURU is on standby. Leka, please take it off.
Good day, viewers, and welcome to NOA Rivers Dialogue. I am Leka EMEJURU, Como National Orientation Agency, Omoma local government area, reporting live from Omoma. You are all aware that it's been over 10 years the last population census was conducted in this country, Nigeria, and the federal government has a plan of conducting another census come 2023. There are facts and issues we have to know concerning this 2023 population census, and with me to discuss those facts and figures are Honorable Chikadibia Innocent.
Thank you, Mrs. Leka. My name is Innocent. Well, talking about the proposed 2023 population census, we all know the importance of census when it comes to the activities of government. Census is a very important exercise with which the government plans, with which the government runs. You know, without census, most times it makes a lot of things very difficult for the government to execute her programs and policies. This is simply because with census, the government will be able to ascertain how many adult male citizens do we have in Nigeria, how many adult female citizens do we have in Nigeria, how many children do we have in Nigeria, how many are employed, how many are underemployed. You know, a lot of issues with regards to the population census. And so 2023 is a very important year, a year that will mark transition from one government to the other. And so it makes it very important for the Federal Republic of Nigeria to carry out census, you know, because it will provide the government with the template with which the government that will come in will run. So my advice to the MPC is that the MPC, in the process of recruiting ad hoc staff that will carry out this exercise, should be very detailed. You know, there shouldn't be any iota of favoritism when it comes to the recruitment. People should be recruited because they are qualified to carry out this exercise, so that the best results will be achieved at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chika Dibia. Over to you, Abiye.
Yeah, thank you, Leka EMEJURU. You know, that was a very insightful report from you there. We are also joining our correspondents from Asatoro local government. We are Jemina Ekine is on standby. Jemina Ekine, we are listening. Take it up, please.
Mr. Abiye Senebo, the presenter of Rivers Dialogue. Today, I'm in Asatoro local government area, particularly in Buguma. And with me is Comrade Nimisoere Benibo. Comrade Nimisoere Benibo, it's nice having you. Today, we are talking about 2023 census, facts and issues. What can you tell our people and what can you tell our government? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Census 2023 is coming as a fact, known by all elites in Asatoro local government. But the fact still remains that the elites has a lot of job to do in sensitizing rural dwellers. Issues about census. Time past, we have taken note that a lot of persons in the rural areas are not informed of the basis for census. The reason why government is calling for census. I want the local government chairman to take it as a project. The royal fathers to take it as a project. The CDC, the youth leaders to take it as a project. In sensitizing their community personnel, their community people, in coming out to do the census. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us this your time, Comrade Nimisoere Benibo. Now over to you, the presenter, Mr. Abiye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jemina Ekine there. At this point, viewers, we're going to open the phone lines so that you also use that medium. And then viewers, we're also expecting, you know, a call from the field coordinator of the trial census that is ongoing now. Any moment from now, he's going to call and then give us a feedback. What is ongoing as we speak here. So the phones of your stated claims here, please, because the conversation is strictly for enlightenment and reorientation. Please. Thank you. And so before we join our